everybody, Gilligan Kruger 0829 here with another movie review. Today I'm going to be looking at a movie that's a bit less known. You probably have never heard of it. Mainly because I've been looking at so many big movies and big series recently, I decided to step back and look at something a bit calm, well, a lot calmer than what normally is. The movie I'm selecting is the 2009 comedy/drama, that's what it calls itself, called Lymelife. Now, as I said, you've probably never heard of this movie. I hadn't even until a few weeks ago, actually. But I saw it on Netflix, and I thought, oh, I'll give this a shot. Maybe I'll like it. And I decided to review it for you. There's not too much to talk about in the backstory, so I'll get right into it. Now, this movie is set in 1979 Long Island, New York. And it follows two families who basically live right across the street from each other. On one side, we have the Bartletts. The family consists of Scott, the youngest son, who's a kid who's kind of bullied around through school. He's played by Rory Culkin. We have the father, played by Alec Baldwin. He's a flamboyant, loudmouth real estate agent named Mickey. And we have the mother, Brenda, played by Jill Hennessy. She's a paranoid mother who's trying to keep everything in check. And at the same time, right as this is happening, the older brother comes in because he's just come back from the army and he's there for his mother's birthday. He's played by Rory Culkin's older brother as well, Kieran Culkin. And he's a little bit different. Well, okay, he's a lot different from Rory in the fact that he's a no-nonsense guy. He really provides some of the more frightening scenes in this movie, I think. But across the street, we also have the Braggs. And they're composed of Father Charlie, played by Timothy Hutton, who ironically is the only one in this movie with Lyme disease. Don't understand how that works out. But he's kind of a fun-loving character, though he doesn't really work anymore. He basically stays home and occasionally goes hunting. The work is taken care of by Melissa, Charlie's wife, who actually works occasionally with Mickey, and she's played by Cynthia Nixon. And finally, we have their gorgeous daughter, Adriana, who actually serves as Scott's love interest. She's played by Emma Roberts. Hold up. Emma Roberts and Rory Culkin in a movie together? Where does that sound familiar? Oh, yeah. Sticking back to the movie. The movie basically follows both of these families in their day-to-day dramas, which include a romance between Scott and Adriana. We have the dramas of our brother, Jimmy, I forgot to mention his name earlier, and we even talk about an affair between Mickey and Melissa. Now, I don't really have much more to say about the movie. That's probably the shortest plot summary you've ever gotten, because that's basically all I have to say. This isn't exactly the most eventful movie I've ever seen. The story of this kind of falls out kind of slow, and even though the movie's only an hour and a half, it really feels like it drags. I'm sure I paused and walked away to get a drink of water plenty of times. Now, it's not really bad, but that's something that holds it down. Another thing I have to comment on is most all of the characters in this movie are assholes. I don't understand why so many of them act like they've got sticks up their ass the size of West Texas. I mean, why? Also, the one other thing, this is a small issue, for a movie called Lymelife, the Lyme disease that Charlie has barely plays any significance in this movie. I thought to myself, well, why call it Lymelife, really? Now, granted, I'm not saying a movie is bad for that. I'm not taking off points, that's just something I'm curious about. If you've seen this movie, please comment and answer. Now, is there anything I do like about this movie? And yes, there is. I do think the characters, when they aren't assholes, they are interesting, and I do praise their performances. And there are some heartfelt moments between these characters, particular between Scott and Adriana, and later on, Scott and Mickey, his father, about the whole affair issue, which is discovered, by the way. Not too huge of a spoiler, but even then, though, there are some problems. Like, there's a point where Scott gets jealous that Adriana, who he's liked for years, is with someone else, so he makes up a lie that he, well, look it up. Watch the movie. In fact, this movie is not afraid to press its R rating. This is some of the most F words I've heard in a movie in a long time. Including the Hangover movies, and those have a lot too, but I don't know. Actually, probably my favorite character, now that I think of it, is actually Jimmy, the brother, played by Kieran Culkin. I just think he's a much more diverse and three-dimensional character just because he's coming from a different point. Like, he has a really awkward position in the army that he's in, and he's trying to hide it. And, you know what? I thought he was a good addition, to be completely fair. Again, I did enjoy some of this movie. I think it really kind of balances out. I'm trying to speak really quickly on this review. I don't have too much to say about this movie other than I wasn't too impressed, but I wasn't horrified. Before I give my star rating of the review, I kind of want to talk about something. Now, one of the film's executive producers here is Martin Scorsese, which is going to draw a lot of film fans to it. But to be completely fair, and I know a lot of you are going to hate me after this comment, I think Scorsese is one of the most overrated names in all of Hollywood. Like, I saw two of his movies, Shutter Island and The Aviator, which are supposed to be really incredible films, but to be honest, I wasn't really impressed with either one of them. I just think Scorsese is a decent director. They were good movies, they just weren't great. And I don't know, just something I wanted to throw out there since I saw Scorsese's name in the credits. I'm like, oh wow, Scorsese produced this. But enough of that. Bottom line is, the good stuff and the meh stuff balance each other out here. And I don't regret seeing this movie. There were some points I liked about it. There were some things I didn't. Obviously, you all know what I liked the most about it, but that's aside from the point. So, I'm gonna give this movie 2.5 stars out of 5. It's kind of one of those movies that you can't recommend it, but you're not going to discourage anyone from seeing it. I don't really love it, but I wanted to give it more than 2 stars because some of the people who do like the movie will be thinking I'm comparing it to Wolverine and Last Airbender, and believe me, I like this movie a lot more than those two, so it's an okay movie. I wouldn't say it's bad, it's just didn't really impress me. You can find all my movie reviews on my YouTube channel. If you have a movie you'd like me to review, comment on this video or on my channel. Until next time, peace!